They make it appear to everybody that it's safe and secure and nobody knows what's going on. I have a big problem that I think we all have, and I think I might have a solution to it. Okay, here's what I think is a big problem.
Okay.
You know how the Democrats are pushing, especially in a state like New Jersey and several of the other states, they're pushing for these mass mail ballots, okay?
Yeah. The stay home, mail-in ballots for elections.
Now, I mean, first of all, if we were going to get into the whole Corona thing for mail-in balloting, I mean, first of all, I would go right on the record saying right now to anybody that is willing to listen, if you can go to ShopRite or Walmart or Home Depot, you could stand in line at a voting place.
Oh, I know. And I actually on a Facebook group that I'm in of my own town, I was arguing with a few people about that. And their comebacks where people can't go there, they're afraid. And I'm like, okay, but what about standing on the lines of Home Depot, standing on the lines of Walmart? And they're like, they don't have enough volunteers for the polling stations. And then I go, okay, what about the one person for the self-checkout line with, say, at Walmart with, what do they have, about 15 registers? So one guy's watching 15 registers and everybody's not stealing something, you know what I mean? So if one guy can do that, I'm sure that one or two volunteers now can work, the polling stations. Not to mention that I think, I'm not 100% on this, but I think, doesn't taxpayer money pay for all that anyway?
Yeah.
So for them to argue with me stating that, they can't keep it clean, there's not enough people. And I'm like, well, obviously we're being raped daily on taxes, so they should have enough money to pay for something for that to happen. Now, the one argument that they did say to me was, okay, what about the older generations of people that do have underlying issues that don't want to go out and catch corona and whatnot? What do they do? And I mean, I understand, okay, they do not want to go directly to a polling station. But what is your take? What do you think they should do? Mail-in ballot or have somebody deliver it for them? But then you don't know if that person is with them or against them. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Here's why this whole issue, people need to pay a lot more attention to this issue. Okay? For example, state of New Jersey and every other state in the union pretty much has some mechanism for absentee balloting in place. Okay? They've always had things for military, for people overseas, this and that. Now, I will go on the record and say this. First and foremost, easiest solution, all 50 states, because of the pandemic, declare this pandemic as valid reason to get an absentee ballot. Okay?
Okay.
Simple. If it's not already one of your reasons, make it a reason.
Now listen, explain to everybody what is an absentee ballot, though.
Here's the difference. With an absentee ballot, you, the voter, request from your county board of elections, you request the ballot. Once you make that request, okay, first of all, they know who is requesting it, where they're requesting it from, okay, then they have to send that ballot to you. So they already know that you're a resident, and they already know that at least you're saying who you are, okay, which your county board of elections will be able to check voter registration to know if you're already a registered voter or not. Okay? Not that that matters. If you request the ballot, you should get a ballot.
No, really quick.
And here's the difference.
Okay.
These mass mailings that they're talking about, you and me, we don't request the ballot. The state just has all the counties blast out ballots to people on their voter registration lists. Okay? Or for that matter, they could do it to just people that they declare residents, which means in New Jersey, as many other states do, if you have hokey rules when it comes to citizenship, okay, because you're a sanctuary state, okay, which New Jersey, don't kid yourself, we pretty much are there.
I know, there's certain counties that are and certain counties that aren't, but for the most part, everybody's traveling through anywhere anyway.
But my point is, the state, the government, the county, whoever, is just blasting all these ballots out, okay? Now, right off the bat, there's numerous problems with that. Number one, they might send it to you, but if you're actually a registered voter and you're actually a citizen and actually live in a state, you may not get it. Okay? Because if that's what you're relying on to vote and you never get that ballot, then what do? You follow me?
Yeah,
So right
yeah.
off the bat, if you don't get it, because here's another little thing that people don't know.
But wait, before you say that though, I know how you said everybody hit up the government for them to send them the ballots, right, for registered voters. Now, what if so many people hit it up and it crashes, and then nobody gets it? Like, obviously, it's very hard to get in contact with anybody in the government, and if they're going to have a website to do this and everybody bombards the website, wouldn't that somewhat cause a havoc?
Well, let me put it to you this way, okay? Like, for example, I think there's about, I'm going to say the population of Middlesex County, New Jersey is around 830,000. Population, that's total population.
Okay.
Okay? So now what do you think the registered voters are out of that 830,000? Maybe 150,000?
Probably.
Okay. So out of those 150,000 registered voters, how many of them you think would choose to go in person if they had the chance, or get an absentee ballot if they had a chance?
It depends. It depends. I would assume it depends on how much they really want to vote.
It could be a 50-50.
Yeah.
Okay, because really, you'd have to have the actual voter registration records and stuff to determine. Because, like, let's say, if you go back to the pandemic rules, right?
Okay.
We already know the people who are most at risk are the people who are in higher age category, especially with coexisting underlying conditions.
Exactly.
Now, if you depending on the severity of your underlying other conditions, that age range could drop, like for you and for me.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people over the age of 60 that have already gotten the disease, and
they're fine.
Yeah, and they're fine, exactly. And some people are actually, some people in their 60s are asymptomatic, where their spouse got it and felt like crap, and they themselves didn't even know they had it.
It's like a week or two ago. There was somebody in a nursing home, a woman, I swear, I think she's in her 90s. She had it, and she's fine.
She's fine, yeah. Yeah.
She's in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Okay, but she must be in pretty good shape.
Probably. Maybe she walks around the block, you know what I mean?
Okay. Or maybe she does something to boost her immune system. I don't know. But here's my point, okay, with all of this. If you go in person, at least when you go in person, you're there, you're seen. You have to provide ID, okay? If there's any question whatsoever as to whether or not your signature is matching the signature they have on record, okay? So right off the bat, in person, you cut down on the number of fraudulent people that can walk in there and vote.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You cut it down. You don't eliminate it, okay? Because if you got hokey poll workers, they'll let people go in and vote that shouldn't be.
Well, that's why I'm a fan of voter ID registration.
Right, but that's a whole separate issue. We could talk for hours just about that.
Okay, now wait, really quick before you finish though. If let's say if you get the ballot to send in, do you give it to the mail person? Do you take it yourself to the mailbox? Are they going to have a special voter mailbox? Or do you take it directly to the post office? Or do you take it directly to your local township, say police headquarters, to give it in?
Well, here's part of the problem. They're not saying that as of yet.
Yeah, because
what I found out so far.
Because the reason I'm asking is because let's just say, every state starts ending up like the people in Portland or California, you know what I mean? And they have a box strictly for elections. Who's to say that that's not going to get vandalized, destroyed, set on fire, you know what I mean? And everybody's vote goes to ashes.
I think the two best choices, personally, that should be taking place and could easily take place would be, in the case of anyone who doesn't want to go near a polling place because of the fear of the coronavirus, okay, should be able to request and should get an absentee ballot and be able to cast that way. Because at least there's some controls in place with that.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to ask for it. They have to send it. And when it comes back, they know that someone asked for it, and they could even verify signatures through voter registration records if they had to, okay?
Okay.
That would be in my view, the best option for someone who doesn't want to physically go to a polling place.
Yeah.
Barring that, like even me, even though I'm in one of those categories where I should be, probably staying 12 feet away from people, I would be glad to go in person and vote.
Yeah, no, I understand. I would have no. Listen, I have an autoimmune. Like I said,
you can wear a mask, you can wear gloves, you can bring some wipes with you, you can wipe down the buttons and stuff. But here's the problem, okay? Because I was paying attention to this. Right off the bat, with these mass mailing things, okay? Like even in New Jersey, okay? New Jersey, they make it appear to everybody that it's safe and secure and nobody knows what's going on, right?
Okay.
I saw proof that there's a barcode on the outside of the envelope.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
And it says
there's
D and R,
doesn't
it?
Sequence underneath the barcode.
With a D and an R.
With a D and an R.
I saw the video on that.
There's only one letter in the numeric sequence, okay? One letter, and it's in either a D or an R.
So they know if it's
D. They do. Yeah. They don't have to open it. They don't have to look inside. If it has an R on it, they can assume you're voting for the person they don't want and toss it away.
Exactly.